I just got a job interview for the first time at a major company. I was excited. I
Yeah.
remember, I went in for my interview and I met up with the manager. I found out later, my future team, they were all in the cameras. They were like, her? That's who your interview is? Like, what? That little girl? So, I ended up talking with my manager for about an hour. Mind you, I'm young. I'm 22. So I'm babbling. I just remember telling her, I'm trying to tell you everything about me. I'm trying to just tell you why I would be a good fit
You
for the
were
job.
excited.
I was. And my manager goes, no, please keep going. Let me hear it. That was the type of person they were.
Sorry. It's discontinued. Welcome to Sorry, It's Discontinued. I'm Hilary, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Now, I am elated to highlight today's guest. Yes, I use the word elated. It's just such a great word. Our guest today, she is someone who has worked hard and is more than deserving of a big shout out. She is someone who embodies loyalty, integrity, and heart, qualities that have shaped every part of her journey. Alexa. She was raised right here in Houston by two amazing parents and later attended the University of North Texas in Denton, her mom's alma mater, which made it feel even more like home. Well, there she joined Phi Beta Phi, a sorority she loved for its focus on philanthropy and sisterhood. She built lasting friendships that still anchor her today. She graduated in 2022 with a dual, and I said dual, bachelor's degree in history and political science, a minor in criminal justice, and a legal studies certificate, a true powerhouse. After college, she landed a role in loss prevention at one of the biggest luxury retailers in Houston and quickly became a trusted and essential part of that team. Now, fun fact. The role of loss prevention, it dates back to the early 1900s when department stores began hiring store detectives to discreetly monitor shoppers and reduce theft. Over time, the job evolved. Today's loss prevention professionals use a mix of surveillance technology, data analysis, and behavioral cues to protect the stores from internal and external loss. And they're needed now more than ever. Theft in department stores has been steadily rising, with organized retail crime becoming a growing concern. On average, retail theft costs U.S. stores an estimated $700,000 for every $1 billion in sales, and some of the hardest hit stores in the major cities lose millions each year. Loss prevention teams aren't just watching cameras, they're a vital part of store operations and helping protect staff, keeping an eye on merchandise, and the bottom line. It's endless. They wear many hats, which we discussed today. Truly fascinating. Now, back to Alexa. Alexa actually followed in her grandfather's footsteps. He served as a police officer and worked in loss prevention and security in McAllen, Texas. So this path felt like a natural calling. Now moving towards the next exciting chapter in her life, Alexa is now working in a law firm as a legal assistant for one of the named partners and taking big steps towards a career in law and criminal justice. Really incredible. She's an avid reader. She loves visiting Austin to see family and lights up any room she walks into. She's the kind of person you want in your corner, and I know she's going to do incredible things. I'm just so excited for you to meet her. This is Alexa. So let's get into it. Lady.
Hello. How are you?
It's Alexa in the house.
It's me. What's going on?
Well, thank you for coming on. Sorry, it's discontinued, especially at 9:30 in the morning.
Thank you for having me. This is very early. For
Are
me,
you
at
an
least.
early riser?
No, I am a night owl. That's why I always would close all the time because I am a late shift type of person. I'm
Yeah.
not, the early shifts are not for me, but I'm working on being a morning person. I'm working on
Hey,
being
it's
better.
whatever your process is. You can be
Yeah.
a morning person whenever you're ready,
Whenever
So
I'm ready.
there's no
I don't know if I'll ever be fully ready.
Have you been doing okay? Your week is going well? I forget, what's today, Thursday?
Today's Thursday. Yeah, it's been It's been a crazy week. But
Yeah.
I think, everything's going well. I got back from a trip from Austin to visit my family. I'm
Doing some
reading a lot of
things.
books. Yeah.
Reading a lot of books.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Are you part of a book club, or do you do any of like the Oprah's favorite books, or like Reese
No,
Witherspoon's book club
no,
thing?
I normally it's just I read as a hobby for myself. One of my best friends from college, we've started to buddy read. And so we are slowly making our way through Emily Henry's catalog. We read the first two and we're on the third book now. One of my favorite authors just released the last book in one of my favorite series. So I read that book last week.
What
Loved
was
it.
that book?
It's Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforty. It's the Windy City series is my favorite series ever. It's a sports romance and it follows a friend group of five guys on sports teams and then how they find their soulmates and the family builds. So it's found family and everything and I really enjoyed
Aw.
it. So that I cried a lot when that ended last week. So
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to look all those books up.
yes,
Trying to
you
read
should.
more. I'll buy
Emily
a book
Henry.
and then I end up downloading the audio and then I just listen to it.
Well,
So,
that counts. That still counts. It's
okay.
I like to do immersive reading where I'm listening to it and then I can have the book in front of me.
Really take it in.
Yeah, take it all
So,
in. Audiobooks count as reading too. Don't let anybody
well,
tell you that
thank
it
you for
doesn't
that.
count.
Well, I'm weird because I love books, bookstores, like half-price
Yes.
books. I just love to walk around. I love the smell of old
Mhm.
books. And then I have these books that I keep, and I just like knowing that I have them, even though I haven't even read it. You know?
My TBR is I think I have 80 unread books on my shelf. I'm slowly
Nice.
chipping away at it.
Oh,
I think I got it down to 79.
that's
So
really good.
it started at 82. It's down to 79 as of last week. So I counted
Oh,
before I
it
went on my trip.
counts. Yeah.
It counts.
I know. Well, I didn't know that you were an advocate reader. I love it.
Yes.
Um, okay, so I want to get into your beginnings and
Yeah.
just, did you grow up in Houston?
Yes, I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. Moved to the house that I'm currently in when I was almost 3 years old. I've lived on the same
Oh,
street, in the same house, in the same room for 22-ish, 22 and a half years,
okay.
not counting the year that we were flooded from Harvey. So
Oh,
we had to move
geez.
out and
You
redo the
guys
whole house.
experienced that, huh?
Yeah, we did. We
Uh,
ended up, it was, yeah, 2017, we got about 2 feet of water in our house. The room that I'm currently in is completely submerged in water and all of my teenage stuff, all
like
of my memories.
pictures, like toys, things like
No.
that.
Pictures, thank goodness. My grandma, she was the one that kept the photo album. So I have all my childhood pictures, a good
Oh,
majority of them.
thank goodness.
It's just
Okay.
my childhood dolls that I was saving for my niece. Those are gone. All of my childhood toys and things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about it because, 6:30 in the morning, water's coming in the house. I'm
Hey,
17
yeah,
years old.
that's the
The
last thing you
most
need to grab.
the most thing I'm thinking of, okay, let me get my books for school. Let me get my school laptop. Let me make sure I have, my clothes. Okay. And then I did grab my childhood stuffed giraffe that I've had since I was 4. So that I still have him.
Oh.
So yeah, I born and raised here. I went to school at the same school my mom went to, her alma mater, University of North Texas, up in Denton. So I studied political science there. The goal is to go to law school and become an attorney like my dad. He's a criminal defense attorney here in Houston, Texas. So that's what I went to college for. I was in a sorority, Pi Beta Phi. Loved it. Had a great
I better
experience.
fire.
Pi Beta,
What?
Pi Beta
I was never
Phi.
I didn't go to a sorority, but I know you got to be like, what?
Woo! Yes. So I was a Pi Phi and I had a great experience there. Actually, here, I have a Polaroid picture actually of my little house. That's me in front
Oh,
of my house.
that's so cute.
Um, I enjoyed Greek life in
Okay.
Denton. It was a smaller Greek life. So there was only 8 sorority houses and it wasn't your stereotypical what you would assume a sorority, what the media feeds you and, all of those SEC schools. It was really close knit, really focused on philanthropy and philanthropic work.
That's awesome.
I knew everybody in my sorority, which a lot of people can't say that. There was
Mhm.
less than 100 of us and living in the house with 24 other girls, it really makes you close to your sisters. So
Yeah,
that was something that I
absolutely.
was grateful
Especially being
for.
away from home, they become
Away from home.
your new family,
Ah,
creating that space where you can
correct.
go and when you're having a hard day or
Especially as an only
great
child.
day.
It was something that I didn't know that I needed. And my mom, she was in a sorority. She said, you need to join one. I promise you, it may not be your personality now, but she said, you may not know that you need it, but trust me, you do. And she was right. Moms are always right.
Moms are right.
Moms are always right.
Wow, that's awesome. You studied political science. Did you minor in anything like working for loss prevention and you're wanting to be a lawyer? Like what?
So my degree is pretty extensive. I have a dual bachelor's degree. I have a bachelor's in history and a bachelor's in political science. And then I have a minor. I have a minor in criminal justice, and I got awarded a legal studies certificate at graduation.
Okay, what does that mean?
You get a legal studies certificate based on the coursework that I took. So
Alexa.
I have all my degrees on my wall because I'm very proud of them.
Good for you. You should be proud of them. It's a lot
I got
of
it
time.
in 4 years.
Yeah,
Two
a lot
degrees
of
in 4
time,
years.
late nights studying.
At Willis all night, 17 hours at a time. I would just be there writing a lot of essays, a lot of, heavy book work. And not necessarily exams.
Your projects, reports.
Exactly.
Research.
Correct.
Wow.
I have all the books open.
Yeah. My daughter just finished at UT in Austin, and
congratulations.
She's taking time to kind of decompress because of all of the studying and the cramming and I have 5 things due at the same time, plus working.
Yes.
So kudos to you.
Congratulations to her. UT is a very prestigious school, and that is so amazing for her. Congratulations.
Aw, thanks. She worked really hard and she did it. And you did too. It's incredible. So how did you get started in loss prevention, working for a big store in the 4th largest city in the country with over 2 million people in the Galleria? I mean, security, loss prevention has always intimidated me. And the stories, I have to say the word courage for anyone who works in that department or a career. It takes a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I guess to be honest, courage.
Right?
To be honest, I moved home from Denton in 2022 after I graduated in August. Okay. My plan was to go to law school, but I had, unfortunately, a death in the family a couple years prior. So I was a little bit, mentally just, I don't think that I would have been able to put my best foot forward in law school at that time.
You're just struggling.
So I took some time off and moved back home with my parents. Okay, you had a part-time job in college, you need a full-time job, you have 2 degrees. What can you do? I had previously done sales. Let me look and see maybe what there's available. And the store that I had worked at, I was a lifelong shopper there. My mom and I used to go there when I was little. So I grew up in that store, essentially. So I'm just perusing the internet, looking online, and I saw that there was a job posting for loss prevention. And I asked my mom, I said, Mama, do you know what loss prevention is? Your grandfather, her dad, he was a police officer. Well, he used to do loss prevention all the time. He worked security, he was a loss control specialist when he was, younger, when I was little.
Wow. Because a lot of times officers will do that, like on like as a side job or extra money.
Yep.
To support stores. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Officers will do EJs, which are extra jobs. And that's what he did back in McAllen. And my mom goes, yeah, you could probably do that. Sure. Not knowing what it really entailed. I remember filling out the application and setting it aside, not really at the forefront of my mind. Let me apply for this and we'll see what happens. The manager ended up reaching out and wanting to schedule an interview. And so I remember being super excited because I'm fresh out of college, just got a job interview for the first time at a major company. I was excited. I remember, I went in for my interview and I met up with the manager. Of course, my team, I found out later, my future team, they were all in the cameras. They were like, her? That's who your interview is? Like, what? That little girl? And so, I ended up talking with my manager for about an hour. I'm young. I'm 22. So I'm babbling. And I just remember telling her, I'm sorry if it feels like I'm selling myself, but I'm trying to tell you everything about me. I'm trying to just tell you why I would be a good fit for the job.
You're excited.
I was. And my manager goes, no, please keep going. Like, let me hear it. That just was the type of person they were. They were very big on people's personality, not necessarily what's on paper. Yeah. About the person, about the vibes. They gave everybody a fair chance.
Yeah.
It wasn't, necessarily
we'll look at all your
experience.
Credentials and what you've done,
because I didn't have any experience. You look at my resume at the time, I had no business being in that position, but I found out later why I was a great fit. Everybody plays a different role. And I played the role of back of house administration. I may not have been the most courageous when it came to making a stop, but I was very good about, okay, hey, I'm on camera, I'm in the office. Hey, they've got a piece concealed in their bag, okay, they're making their way towards the escalator. In that type, I was better in the office than I was being the forefront. But that's okay because
absolutely.
Everybody has
they
their
need that.
everybody has their strengths.
their parts that they're really good at. And when you have a manager too that realizes that,
Correct.
it strengthens the team and it creates such a great community and your work family gets stronger, It
does. Exactly. And that's why I think Core 4 is what we used to call ourselves, because people come and people go.
That's a good name.
People would come and go. In my 2.5 years of working for the company, people walked in and people walked out, but there was always my manager and 2 of my other coworkers and myself, and we were the Core 4. And yes, we had our ups and our downs, but the 4 of us truly had each other's backs.
Aww.
Truly, we're talking about found family. They were my found family at work. They were the ones that kept me sane and kept me wanting to go back.
Yeah, great memories. So you started working in loss prevention, and was there a training or how did you immerse yourself in that position? Was it slow or you're on the floor, you're watching,
Yeah. you do it now, go stop that person.
Yeah, go get him.
No. The company is really good about making sure that that's not what they do. So at the time that I was hired, myself and another coworker, we were hired probably about a month apart. At the time, there were 2 seniors in the team, plus my manager, that had been there for years. Okay. So my other coworker got one of the seniors, and I got the other senior. My senior ended up being one of my closest friend there at the store. I am so thankful for them because really everything that I know because of them and their experience. They had LP experience probably spanning back at least 10 to 14 years, I would say.
Wow.
They knew what they were talking about.
A lot of experience to really pass on and give you good advice,
A lot of their expertise. And, the other senior and my manager, very good about making sure that I knew what I was doing. But it was a very trusting, if I did something, my manager would say, hey, make sure you tell her she's not doing this correctly. Or, hey, I saw her do this, make sure you tell her, do it this way.
So very constructive, helpful.
Helpful
advice and
very constructive. My manager would always, she wasn't afraid to sit us down and be like, hey, I saw this, I got this feedback. Let's not do that again. Let's maybe do it this way. Or, hey, you did this. That was really great. Make sure that you keep that up. And so that's something I really admired about them. They weren't afraid to tell us what we were doing wrong or what we were doing right, which you don't see very often. Managers are very quick to, hey, you did that. That's bad. Don't do that.
Just telling you what you did wrong as opposed to, hey, see it this way, but maybe let's try it this way.
Exactly.
And there's such a difference in how you say it.
Exactly.
And then it also gives you more freedom to put yourself out there so you're not so afraid of making mistakes and learning.
Yes.
Because we're always going to make mistakes.
Exactly.
That's how we learn.
My senior, he told me, in any other loss prevention job that I've done, this is different. It's more administrative than it is necessarily stopping people for stealing, stopping people for theft,
Yeah.
And that was something I was grateful for because I'm good at that. I'm very tech savvy. I wasn't very open at the time. I get very nervous and anxious. That was something that I developed after the death of my family member. So coming in and I'd have to stand at the window, make sure that I'm checking IDs in the morning. It was very much a good way for me to grow and open myself up, and also a way for me to show my personality. So my motto was, I'm not a morning person, but sometimes I'd have to open the store. And so I'd be there at 6:45. And I may not be a morning person, but that's not anybody else's problem. So I'd be there at the window with a smile on my face. Good morning. Have a great day. How are you? And, they're coming in.
Yeah, because I did that once.
Correct.
More than one.
Everybody does. Even me. I walk in there at 6:45. Don't turning off the alarm.
Clock in.
People walk in. Good morning.
Good
I have my little energy drink in my little can. Everybody knew me for my energy drink. And so, she's in LP, really? Like, she's gonna go stop those people?
I never thought that.
A lot of people
totally see you in LP.
A lot of people
walk around. You have those keys.
Oh,
You're
I
ready to go.
I love my little keys. I still have I had my little handcuffs on my keys. But yeah, a lot of people would say, they didn't see me in LP, but that's okay. because I may not have been at the forefront. I may not have been stopping people, but I was on those cameras.
Yeah,
I was
you were
watching.
Yeah, very valuable. Well, okay, so tell me about like a typical day of what it was like in loss prevention for you.
Yeah.
Like
So
from when you go and get there in the morning or if
yeah,
you're a closing shift.
I pulled all the shifts to the overnights and everything, but I was a closer. That's what worked best for me and the team.
Yeah.
Everybody had trust. Okay, Alexa's closing tonight. We're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Yeah, I get there at noon. I clock in, put my badge on. Oh, that was another thing about training that I forgot to mention. The training was extensive in the sense that we're learning from our seniors, we're learning from our managers, but we're also having to do training modules. It's essentially a test. You have to go through the PowerPoint, you have to answer the questions on the test, and then the manager checks them and gets with the regional, and they make sure that like you fully understand. The last thing we'd want is to end up making a stop in a lawsuit. It's called a non-productive detainment. You have to go through all that. You have to pass a camera test where you...
So a lot of like legal training and so on.
You have to make sure that you can follow somebody on camera. My manager would go and conceal things in bags and put stuff back to try to confuse you. And you have to be able to, okay, Alexa, would you tell so-and-so to make a stop? And yes or no. So no, I wouldn't because I lost you at this point. Or yes, I know that you have this, this, and this in that bag, and you put this in your pocket, in your right pant pocket, very specific. And at the end of that, my manager would decide whether or not you would be able to be a badged investigator. So I was. Myself and my manager and one of the other seniors, we were badged investigators. So we were able to make stops. So that's for the training portion.
Wow.
That's a big part of it. The company had a set of training modules that you had to adhere to before you were able to make a stop.
You wore many hats.
I
mean,
did.
With like welcoming associates when they come in, checking associate purchases, then customer service issues.
Yeah. So I was a closer. That's just worked best for the team. Everybody knew that, okay, Alexa's closing. We're going to be okay. I'd get there at noon. I'd come in. I'd get my keys, put my badge on, and then we'd have our walkies on standby, our radios on standby, and those were able to communicate with the deputies that we had working EJs, extra jobs. You just sit at the computer and just kind of wait.
The cameras?
Yeah, the cameras or the computer, it depended on what was going on. If all of us were there, it kind of amped up when the badged investigators, for me at least, like if I was there with another badged investigator, okay, it's go time. Got to be on alert because if something happens, we're making a stop or we're going to get ready to make a stop. You're always on edge a little bit, anticipating what's going to happen.
Well, and you're multitasking like
correct.
Like
we're answering, we're answering
really
phones. Yeah. We're
the
answering
phone,
phones.
the computer, checking people in. Hold on, I've got to watch the camera.
Correct.
What is this person doing?
People are coming in, late shifts coming in, so we're checking badges to make sure that everybody's supposed to be, and everybody always thought that was weird. You know who I am. You see me every day. Correct, but I need to see that badge.
Yeah.
And I know who you are. I know your name. But
you have to follow procedure.
Company policy. I need to see that badge. Yep. I'm stopping people. I'm sorry. What are you doing? Can you sign in? Are you a vendor? Where are you working? You need access to what? Stockroom? What are you doing? Why do you need in there? And then also we have awareness meetings for the associates. We need to make sure that y'all are up to date on safety procedures, what's going on, keeping you guys informed. So I'm making PowerPoints or I'm doing case reports, especially if we did have an apprehension. Now I have to make it was called LPMS. And so I have to log into this database and I have to write a case report so that I can either call the police and have them come pick it up or file it so that way we have a record of it for the regional to look over.
That's a lot.
Or I'm walking the floor. I'm checking cables. I'm making sure that the associates are okay. I'm making sure that cases are locked, that jewelry's not left open. It was a lot. Or I'm going to fix a cable box. I got to change the batteries in the door codes,
Oh, so you were also electrician?
we wore a lot of hats.
Electrician and maintenance and security and administration.
I have a bunch of hats. My senior was actually the maintenance. It was you need something. Let me call my senior real quick because they're going to be able to do that better than I can. But yeah, we're fixing door handles. The engineers helped us out a lot when they could. But when something went wrong, it's the immediate call LP. Y'all are asking us questions. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. Why is the register not working? I don't know. Hey, what's this code? Okay, that I can help you with. What does it say? That's fraud, and we need to get that.
we need to focus on that one.
We need to focus on that one. That's a big one.
Well, I really want to hear. So we're walking the floor, we're doing the security. You got your badge. What are some of your like crazy stories? I mean, I've got to ask,
I
you
have
know?
I have one. I think probably the craziest one
Okay.
that I have. Let me just to paint the picture.
Okay.
My manager's on vacation,
Of course.
fully out of the country. Okay, fully out of the country, gone. The summertime, and it's 8 o'clock. 7:50, 7:55. Okay, we close at 8 o'clock, just to
Oh
put that into
gosh, yeah.
perspective. We get a call. It's me and my senior. We were there that night. Thankfully, we were there that night. We get a call. Hey, I don't know. This guy's kind of acting a little bit suspicious. We get a lot of calls like that. And there are certain types of behaviors that we look for as
Yeah.
LP. Just people acting nervous, looking up at the cameras, maybe having a big bag. And
Yeah, the big bag or the guy who would come in with the parka.
correct.
It's like freaking
Big
80 degrees.
big overcoats. So there were a lot
Big
of
parka.
yeah, big parkas, big. There were a lot of characteristics that we'd look for. Also, the people, they have tenure, so they know what to look for. They're experienced in this. They know when something's
Yeah,
off.
they've seen it before. They kind of know what to look for.
Exactly, and we're so grateful for them because they were a big help in keeping the theft down in the store.
Yeah.
So we get that call. My coworker, they said, I'm gonna go walk the floor, and I'll be up there. I'll lock the doors. You let me know if something goes on. So, okay, I'm watching. It was during construction time, but also during, it would be summer consolidation. So we have all these racks of clothes on sale.
Okay.
So I'm watching the guy. He's acting weird, but it also, he doesn't have a bag or anything, but it's still, the way that he's acting is a little strange. So I'm watching him, and
Is it because he's just like looking around, or is it?
his movements, he's moving really,
Fidgety?
yeah, fidgety. He's moving really slow. He's looking around. He's picking up stuff. He's holding it up. People had said that he had been in the store before, and when they see that, that's when they call. So we don't have anything yet. We're just watching him, but also in the mindset of we're about to shut the store down. So
Yeah.
let's just see what happens. Well, as I'm watching him in the same frame and the same camera, there's a guy in the back by the rack, and I see him take a shirt off the hanger and he just dumps it in his bag. And I said, there's no way I just saw this right now. There is no way that this is happening. So immediately hey, so-and-so, this guy just concealed a blue shirt in his black bag. And you have to be very specific of what you saw. And so he goes, no way. And I said, yes. Okay, where's he headed? Okay, we're making a stop. I have continuous. My coworker also has visual. At that point, I have entrance, selection, concealment. Now I have continuous. The last stop is apprehension. And so the guy comes out. The off-duty deputies were right behind my coworker. They make a stop. Why did he start running? My coworker had to tackle him right outside the store. Right outside. It's 8 o'clock. So everybody's coming out. There's about 4 or 5 police officers just trying to get this guy down. He ended up being intoxicated. That's why it was so difficult to get him to, because, they're inebriated, so they're not necessarily feeling the impact of the pain. So, there's 5, 6 police officers and my coworker just, hey, put your hands behind your back, trying to get him down.
All for one shirt?
Well, he actually had a shirt and a hat. We recovered a hat that he had stolen previously. We just didn't see it.
That.
We didn't see that part. I just saw him conceal the shirt. And so all of that, it's normally all of that for 1 or 2 items. And it's just a sale shirt? You did all this for a sale shirt? Really? It was on sale for...
Did you see a lot of times the theft rings? Because that had happened to me once when I was working. I was at a counter. There was a man and 2 women, and the guy is like being really social. Then the women go and walk away, and he distracts me. They came back and they took some fragrance and, and then walked out of the store. And
that
was quite a bit.
It didn't happen often, but when it did, it was the same person. There was a female that would come in, and she was known in the store by a lot of people. They knew her by her face.
Yeah.
And her motive, she was the distraction, actually. She had been stopped in the store probably a decade ago at this point. So if the trespass wears off, it expires.
Okay.
So she would come in, and she's not doing anything wrong. She's just simply in the store, but she's the distraction. She's on the first floor. Everybody's, hey, so-and-so's in the building. So-and-so's in the building. So all of our attention is, okay, well, what's she doing?
Wow, she's the duck decoy.
She's not stealing anything. She's just simply walking around shopping. Nothing we can do. We can't tell her to leave. Meanwhile,
but she knows that you guys know about her.
Meanwhile, there's 1 or 2 females on the second floor in one of the designer boutiques cutting cables, stealing handbags. And we don't find out about that until we play it back. What was LP doing at the time? We're watching the known suspect, or LP's watching the known subject in the handbag department. Meanwhile, her friends
are like, woo!
We've never seen the friends before. They are
so you would
to
know
us.
to look for them.
Exactly. They're not known to us. And we would see that a lot. Unfortunately, that does happen where somebody's the distraction and then other people come in and they walk around, and they're so slick with it too. There are two types of shoplifters. You have the amateur shoplifter and you have the professional. So the amateurs are the ones that come in and they see the chance and they kind of just take it, Those are the ones that normally get caught. It's the professional ones that you have to take a step back and really formulate a plan. Okay, the next time they come in, they're probably going to go to this place. So we need to make sure that we have them continuously. We have to make sure we get all the 5 steps, because there are 5 steps to be able to make a stop. It's entrance, selection, concealment, continuous apprehension, or exit apprehension. You have to make sure that you have all your bases covered.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you miss a step. They could have walked in with that sweatshirt, but you see them concealing it. You see them conceal a blue sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But that was actually theirs. If you had been watching 20 seconds ago, you would have seen them
put
enter
something of their own into the bag.
Yeah, you would have seen them enter, pull out the blue sweatshirt to compare it to some pants, and then put that blue sweatshirt back in. That's why it's super important. Hey, so-and-so is going upstairs. They concealed a blue sweatshirt in their bag. I watched them take it from the rack. You have to be really, really sure, because when you're sending your coworker out there to make a stop, it's their safety at risk too. So I would always be very, very sure. Hey, I watched this guy. He has a blue bracelet concealed in his right pant pocket. That way, when my coworker makes the stop, hey, let me talk to you about that blue bracelet. I know it's in your right pocket. Let me see it.
I see.
That way you're able to identify and they're not able to deny it. Because if you conceal a shirt, right, but I don't know what color it is, and I just say, hey, let me see that white shirt that you have. Well, I don't have a white shirt, but the shirt you concealed is like tan, brown, You can say, I don't have a white shirt. Why are you stopping me? I don't have that, because I don't really know.
The color.
Yeah. I don't know what you have. I'm not specific about what you have. I just know you have a shirt. That's not good enough, because you can deny it. Now we're making a scene. Now it's bad. Unless
it's got to be quick.
You have to know exactly what you have. Let me get that. And if you don't know the color, let me see that shirt that you concealed. I know you have it in the waistband. Let me see it. I need that shirt.
Place to where people would hide things like waistbands, sleeves.
Men would put it in their waistbands. Females, they would carry shopping bags. Men would also carry shopping bags.
I would hear stories about like strollers.
That too.
One time the guy had like a hollow leg that he would stuff.
That
this is in an old store. Loss Prevention was sharing stories about what to look out for. I mean, I don't know how you'd catch that. Somebody's walking. It's in your leg, but
no.
Yeah, he was hiding things in the leg, and then
that one was probably one of the funniest. Just the video from it, because
wait, is there a video? You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
What? I didn't know that. I was in somebody was talking about it during a loss prevention training that I went to.
We had a known subject, and he had been in the store previously. He was in a wheelchair. He
he would take merchandise and just roll it up. Or
we had a known subject. He was in a wheelchair. He was an amputee, and so he couldn't really stand or do anything. But he would take the merchandise, fold it, and put it under his bottom in the wheelchair. So my team has to make the stop. They stop him. They get the merchandise back, and then my coworker has to wheel him in the wheelchair. And so there's just the video of him being wheeled and my coworker pushing him across the sales floor, and I'm just because what are you doing?
It's very creative.
What are y'all
doing? When people are desperate or really just struggling, they'll
very creative.
Go to whatever means. The hardest situations, and I'm just like an outsider seeing what you guys would do, but when I would see parents involve their kids, or I'd see young kids stealing,
those were the most unfortunate ones. When we'd have juveniles that we'd have to arrest. Of course, in the moment, they take the merchandise and then we stop them, and then they start panicking because it's, please don't call my mom. Please don't call my mom. I'm sorry. We have to call your mom. And most of my coworkers were parents. So it made it even more difficult for them, because they're talking to this juvenile. They're hoping that they can impart some wisdom onto them. Yeah. And, I'm sitting there probably not much older than that person themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, what are you doing?
I
You know, I'm having to sit
know.
there, make the case reports, and they're looking at me. Did you ever do this when you were younger? Nope.
The mental health, not having a lot of support, social media. There's just so much going on out there. It hurts my heart to see this kid who's just doing the best that they can. And sometimes they do know, and
Yeah.
they're not stupid. They're really wanting to be sneaky and just
Yeah.
try it. But they're kids that, probably do it because they want to look cool with their friends,
Exactly.
or they have no choice and to be a part of a group or
Luckily, I would say for the most part, it seemed like it was a wake-up call for them.
good.
You know, because they would get so scared. And yes, the department store, it was a luxury department store, so a lot of it was expensive stuff. But in the state of Texas, a felony is theft over $2,500. So you really have to get a couple more than, like, you have to conceal more than one thing for that to
Yeah.
even come close to it. So luckily the kids, it was always a misdemeanor charge. So it's not ruining their life.
Good.
It's a wake-up call. It's a lesson. It's, trust me, you don't want to go down that path. There are other ways that you can make money. You don't have to do this. This isn't what you want to do. Most of the time, they're immediately sorry. They're like, I don't know why I did that. That was really dumb. I knew I was going to get caught. You know, all of the things. And it was heartbreaking, I will say. You feel for the kids and you're nicer to them.
Mhm.
Not that we weren't nice in general, but you know, when you have an adult that
Yeah.
you stop and they're talking trash to you and they're mad that you made us,
Well,
like,
you've got to be strong and you've got
Yeah.
to play that part in your job and position, and
exactly.
also it keeps you focused on all of the steps that you have to follow so things are
Correct.
done correctly.
The adults, they're mad. They're cussing at us. They are upset that we made the stop, and I'm sorry, I'm just doing my job. I can pay for it. I'm sorry. Procedure is I need to file this report. We can talk about it when the police get here. But with the juveniles, it's let's wait and see. Let's call your mom. Let's make sure that, we can settle this, because the police never want to arrest a juvenile anyway.
Yeah, of course.
It's terrible. So most of the time, the juveniles would be released into the custody of their parents.
Now, with you being at this position for so long, and I know you're
Mhm.
pivoting into a different career, focusing more into the law side of things. If you were in charge of loss prevention, just in charge of a department of loss prevention in a team, are there things that you might have done a little differently? It could just be one thing, or
I
or
think
nothing.
I think collectively, the team, like, had I been interviewing coworkers, maybe my team and I would have paid more attention to who's going to be the best fit, who's going to fit the vibe of us, who's going to just be able to puzzle in to the family that
Yeah.
we've already created, the schedule. Your department, you were able to kind of make your own schedule with your team.
Yeah.
I wish that we
Yeah,
had been able to do that. I think it would have worked out a lot better for us. This is my schedule. This is what I have to do for myself and my family. How about you guys make your own schedule and I'll approve it? Like y'all's
more
manager did.
flexibility and collaborating
Right.
on what everybody needed. It's not always going to be perfect,
Of
but
course
really
not.
try
But I
to
think-
help each other get what you need
Yeah, I
as
think
far as
if-
family time.
I think if we had more input, it wouldn't have been as mentally draining as it was.
Yeah.
Because, there are days where I was working 5 or 6 late shifts in a row every
that's
every
Alexa.
weekend, which I didn't mind because, yes, I am a late person, but my best friends, they're off on the weekends. And so I never got to see them for the past year. Okay, well, I'll be there. We can go out, but I'll be there after 9:30. I gotta.
How many hours was each shift usually? Actual hours that you were there? Because I know you have your scheduled, but sometimes you would be over and you would have overnights.
Now, nothing on the company. This was 100% our choice. It was never forced. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
However, based on how the team was, this is what worked for us. It wasn't abuse. I just want to make that completely clear.
Yeah, of course. You had a choice.
Yeah.
But of course you want to support the team.
We
and
want to support
everybody
the
wants
team.
to do the best for each other.
We want the money. We want to be
paid.
there. We want to be there, So when we would have overnight shifts, we would get there at noon on, say it's Tuesday the 6th. I would get there at noon and I would not leave until Wednesday the 7th at 4 to 5 a.m. on a long night. So I'd be there for it'd probably average around 16 hours that day.
Oh my gosh.
And then
Was that just fitting into your like 40-hour or 35 hours a week schedule?
we were full-time 40 hours. So
40 hours.
Everything after that was overtime. So yes, on a week that I would have an overnight, it depended on if I had one or two, especially during Christmas. Those were, if we had overnights during the Christmas season. I think Christmas 2023, I was pulling upwards of like 50 to 60 hours.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
just on a normal week, if I had an overnight, I would only normally do one. My coworker would be the one that would do two. Towards the end, I would start doing two. It's just the way that it was getting
Was that harder on you to focus on security, and then you're also tired?
So
did it pose a challenge to being like more alert?
Yeah. My manager was really good about scheduling us. You're off the next day. If you have an overnight, you're off the next day and then you come back. But towards the end there, if I'm doing 2 overnights, sometimes I'd have to come back the next day. And when I'd have the next day off, it sucked, but it was okay. I just kind of felt like I didn't have a day off. It was just a waste of a day, because I'd wake up I'd come home, I'd go to bed probably around 5:30. I wouldn't wake up till about 12 or 1 the next day. And I'm sluggish. Again, it's the middle of the week, so most of my friends are working. I'm just, okay, I guess let me run some errands and then back to work the next day. But it wasn't until I was doing 2 overnights a week where you'd have to come back the next day, because I wanted a weekend off because I had to do something in my actual life, but I also wanted overtime. So I'm overworking myself, and I'm just kind of chugging right along, and it was fine. We could manage. I'd probably do office work, or I would do work on walking the floor if I was tired. You wake myself up, but the hours were pretty extensive. Now, this wasn't every week.
You're getting some time to kind of focus on yourself. You're reading. You're doing some really exciting things.
Yeah.
Your future is like, there's just so much to look forward to.
Yes. And I will say, on the overnights, it's not I'm having to work 16 hours straight. I just had to monitor the construction crew. So
and look for the ghosts in the building.
Correct. Don't joke about it. I've had an experience.
I know. I can. You feel it.
You feel
in certain areas. Like you're just like,
I was
something. I'm not alone.
I was doing an overnight. I was doing an overnight one night.
Okay.
And I went upstairs to do an audit because, again, I'm tired. It's 3 a.m. I need to do something. So,
3 a.m. That's when everybody's out.
3 a.m.
All the ghosts are doing their thing.
So I remember having my paper, and I went up to the 2nd floor. And at the time, it was the dress collections areas.
Okay.
And I walked back on the 2nd floor.
Okay.
You know where I'm talking about.
I don't.
Okay.
Never pay attention. I know where the bathrooms are.
That it was, anyways, I walk into the back, and I'm walking into the back stockroom. I forgot to turn on the lights. I didn't go into the engineering room and flip the lights on. So I had some of the emergency lights, that were on. But
are those like the red lights or like golden lights?
The way that the panel is in the engineering room, there's orange lights, blue lights, green lights, red lights, and they all flip on. And so some of them are on auto, some of them are off. So they're on a timed clock. And so at 3 a.m, you don't really need all the lights on. You just need a few to illuminate kind of where the exits are and where the escalators are. So there was light. It just wasn't a lot. Yeah. And so I remember walking back, and I have my flashlight on, and I'm walking to the back stockroom, and I'm putting in the code, and I just felt that chill that goes up and down your spine. And it was like, it was like something's behind me. And so I remember, I'm shivering just thinking about it. I know, me too. I remember looking back, and I was like, there's nobody there. Relax.
My gosh. Were you cold? Were you like in the Sixth Sense, or like,
no, I wasn't cold. It was just that tingle of like, something's there.
I'm not alone.
But I was like, no. You're fine. Like, it's fine. You're fine. Just go. So I go in the stockroom. I'm looking. I'm making sure that everything's good. I'm getting out of there as quickly as I can. I promise you that. I just took pictures. I didn't even look. I didn't even pay attention to dates. I just took pictures. I said, I gotta go. I'm out of here. And I ran back downstairs to the construction crew where one of the supervisors were that was on the overnight with me. And I remember going up to him, and I was like, dude, you're never going to believe what I just experienced upstairs. He goes, no way, relax. I said, I'm going back to the office. I'll see you downstairs, because I can't. I'm not messing
You're
with
not
any of
alone
that.
in those stories, you know? A
Yeah.
lot of people have experienced that because it's such an
Hmm.
old building. I love it. Your stories are so good. And I want to hear if you were going to give anyone advice who wanted to get into loss prevention, into kind of that career that, you've taken working for stores. Is there any advice you would have for them?
I think seriously consider it before you jump into it, because it may not be what you think it is. And you have to keep an open mind when it comes to doing that job. Everybody comes in, oh, I can't wait to tackle somebody. It's not going to be like that. You may go days without making a stop. This isn't, Walmart or Target where theft is
A little bit
heavily,
higher.
yeah, where it's higher and for little items. This is thankfully, our shrinkage was really low. We really didn't have that much. We would go maybe 2-3 thefts a month,
Wow.
which was really good.
Yeah, it
And
was really good.
and the
But you
thefts,
guys were really good at deterring people.
we were. I attribute that a lot to the associates who helped us and
Yeah.
caught it before it got to that point where we could prevent it. But
Yeah.
also come in with an open mind. It's not just going to be tackling people. It's going to be
Yeah.
interacting with associates, sometimes interacting with customers, being on the phone, doing administrative work, doing kind of the boring reports, making sure that bags are being checked, purchases are being stamped, that discount abuse isn't happening right in front of your eyes. It's a lot. It was a lot. And like you said, we wore a lot of hats, but seriously consider it before you hop into it, especially if it's a luxury department store. It's not going to be what most people think loss prevention is.
Well, even just doing it for a year or two really just gives you that experience of so many different hats. Like you said,
This
you
job
can
gave me
use that for whatever you go into later.
This job, I'm forever grateful because it gave me administrative experience. It gave me legal experience because, I want to be an attorney. So I got to see the one side of it where the people commit the crime and we're the ones that are going to enter them into the justice system. And now I'm going to go to the attorney side where, okay, they committed this crime. Now we're going to either see if we can get a plea deal or go into court and do this, know? So I'm very lucky to have seen both sides. I wouldn't trade this experience for anything because it taught me confidence. It taught me how to be a better person. It was the associates that really
gave you a sense of community and support. And you made some good friends.
I'm forever grateful to the store, to the associates, to the people. I love them so much. Even when I'm not working there, I love them. Trust me. I'm so grateful for them.
Well, everyone loves you. Anytime we talk about Alexa, just a big smile and just how great you are and how fun and funny and
thank you.
And smart.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is kind of off topic, but I like to ask everybody, is there anything in fashion or fragrance, makeup, trends, things that were discontinued that you miss, or anything that you're like really in love with right now?
So
other than books.
Yes, love books. I wasn't a very girly girl until college. I didn't really dabble in makeup. Now I do. Now I love makeup. I love, I'm trying to get into more fashion. I'm trying to, I guess, find my way in that. But I will say, I'll talk about my mom. She loves Chanel. She loves Chanel cosmetics. There's a lipstick. I think it's Coco Chanel. It's this pink lipstick that they discontinued. And she is so upset because it was the perfect shade of pink. That woman loves pink.
I'm trying to remember the name. Yes, I remember. I worked for them. Yeah,
I want to say
it was Coco Pink, which is like a really kind of a bright pink.
Coco Pink. She loved that lipstick down. And they took it away, and she still tries to find other, she goes to other brands, she goes to Chanel, she's trying to find, but nothing ever compares to that Coco Pink that she loves so much. So if there was one thing that I would bring back, I would bring that back for my mom because she loves Coco Pink.
It's very sweet, Alexa.
Yeah.
I love that color. Well, this was so fun, and I can't thank you enough for being on Sorry It's Discontinued with me and sharing your story and experience. And I'm just so excited for you and all the things that you're going to be doing.
Thank you for having me. This was great. I've never been on a podcast before. I was like, you want to hear about me?
Me either.
Me either. I was like, you want to hear about me? That's so fun. Nobody ever wants to hear about me.
I That's one of the reasons I really want to highlight the amazing people that work in this industry and all the things that they deal with and do and inspire and uplift and appreciate, because I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. And I will say, yes, the associates are at the forefront of the company, but it's really the back of house that doesn't get the recognition. And I'm not saying LP. We're a small portion. But the back of house associates that
all the
fill the orders, that make sure that they're unloading the truck every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m.
Yeah, the dock, the shipping and
receiving department. Make sure that
merchandising,
make sure that they're getting the love and support, because they're a big part of how the store functions. Without them,
they're all the logistics.
Exactly.
It doesn't work without that.
Without
the amazing group of people.
Correct. Without back of house, that store would not be able to function as smoothly as it does, because it's truly those men and women that wake up 6 a.m. and come in and unload the truck, put the stuff on hangers, sort and log and scan, make sure that they're steamed and they look pretty so that the associates can do their job of selling it. We're one big family, and everybody, like I said, the team plays their role. We all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses, and together we work together as a team.
Together we're stronger. Houston strong.
Correct. Yes.
Well, I'm sure in the future I'll do a where are they now, and you'll just have to come back.
It's the tell-all, and we're all there on a little sofa all together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
That would be amazing. Okay. We'll start planning that for 2 years on the road. 2 years down the road.
2 years. All right. Well, enjoy your day. Okay.
Thank you, Hilary, for having me. This was fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Sorry It's Discontinued. If you love hearing the real voices from behind the counter, be sure to follow the show, leave a review, or share this episode with another fan of fashion, fragrance, anything retail. And if you've got a story to tell or an idea for a future episode, I'd love to hear from you. Just head to sorryitsdiscontinued.com. Send me a message. This podcast, it is independently produced and not affiliated with or sponsored by any brands or companies or retail stores mentioned. All stories and opinions are personal and reflect the views of the individual speaking. We speak honestly, but this space is meant to be respectful of the brands, stores, and careers we've all worked really hard for. This show is about connection, the challenges of working in this industry, but also the inspiration we get from each other. So until next time, thank you for being here. And remember, a smile can brighten someone's day, whether you're behind the counter or in front of it. I can't wait to have a seat with you the next episode. Bye. Sorry. It's discontinued.